Hi and welcome. I'm Patricia Grootjans. I'm an astrologer and quantum healer. And today we're going to look at the astrology forecast for 2025. Now, I've also recently started to do an astrology weekly forecast for quantumhealers.com. But I will be sharing some other astrological insights on my personal channel. So today we're going to look at the astrological energies for the coming year. So I'm going to share my screen because there are some very interesting things happening. And there we go. Right. Okay. So there we have it. Now I've created this chart for Amsterdam location because I'm based in the Netherlands. But we're not looking at the houses today. We're looking at the planetary movements. And I wanted to start with talking about Pluto, who moved into Aquarius in November. And of course, this was in the past year, but it is relevant for the coming year because I see that Pluto moving into Aquarius was actually the start of a whole new era. I believe this really is the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And Pluto is all about power and transformation and how we deal with everything that is. And Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn for a very long time, since about 2008. And that was all the years that were about financial crisis, housing crisis, and also the health crisis that we have been through, of course. And now that Pluto is moving into Aquarius, we have a whole different energy. It is the energy of revelation, it's the energy of revolution, freedom, and giving authority back to the community, back to the people. So this is all about power to the people and people taking back their authority, taking back their power. And Pluto is about transformation by becoming aware of everything that's being suppressed or hidden. And Aquarius is really an energy that's really very upfront in sharing information. So this is going to be years of discovering secrets that are coming out into the open, especially around technology. And I believe that Pluto in Aquarius will trigger a transformation for humanity related to technology and new inventions. So I think we can expect a lot of changes regarding aerodynamics and astronomy, airplanes, flying vehicles, that is. But we're going to look at that later on more. But starting this year in January, the North Node is moving into Pisces. It has been in the sign of Aries for the last 18 months, and that triggered the Aries Libra axis, which was all about relationships and the individual and how do they balance, how do they relate to each other. And now that the North Node is moving into Pisces, this gives a whole new energy, and this becomes more about unity consciousness. Now you have to understand that the North Node has been in Pisces about 18 years ago. So now that it is moving back into Pisces and it is activating the Virgo Pisces polarity, it's interesting to see what was happening in your life about 18 years ago, and especially around unity consciousness or discernment, because Virgo is the part of the polarity that invites us to use discernment, while Pisces is about unity consciousness and enlightenment. So the next 18 months will be about lessons around unity consciousness and also compassion. We may tend to let go of certain boundaries or to let go of certain views that we have on our identity. And it's always good to stay grounded and to use our discernment while we are exploring maybe other realities, because Pisces is also about exploring other realities. Hypnosis, for example, is part of that. Now, when you would visit my Astrology Weekly for quantumhealers.com, I will also be sharing some insight around the North Node in Pisces, so you may also have a look at that. But it's an interesting development, to say at least, and especially when you are a Pisces or you have your moon or a rising sign in Pisces, this is going to be a very important year, 18 months that is. Now, the North Node represents our mission, the direction that we are moving into. And now that the North Node is moving into Pisces, many people who have their sun or moon in Pisces may feel this kind of restlessness, like, where is my destiny? Where is my destination? Where do I need to be to complete my mission or to fulfill my life mission? And this reminds me about something that a quantum healer colleague mentioned in one of his videos, Kenny Baker. He mentioned that some people are like acupuncture needles and they feel that they need to be at a certain place to activate the energy in a certain location. And I think this is a very beautiful set, and this really goes for those who have important planets in Pisces or Virgo, and they may feel this restlessness and this sense of I need to move to somewhere else, I need to be at a certain place, while maybe not being aware why you need to be at that certain place. And it's probably because your energy is needed there to activate something in the Earth's field, in the Earth's energy field. So it's interesting if you have this urge to move or to travel, just follow your instinct, follow your gut feeling. Okay, another thing that is happening this year is we have Neptune moving into the sign of Aries. And this will be happening on March 30. And when Neptune is moving into Aries, this is about the Atlantis energies, something related to experiences in Atlantis that we had on a collective level may change this year, especially around March 30. So it could be that something comes up in our collective consciousness that is related to what happened in Atlantis a long time ago. Now we know that Atlantis went down because of certain kind of experiments that were taken too far. And I believe that we need to be mindful of that, especially this year. Where do we take certain inventions? Where do we take certain experiments? Where is the limit? And I believe there will be certain experiments that are related to water, or maybe experiments that will be happening in the oceans, or that is related to the water on Earth. And so this could involve, of course, some floodings that will happen across the Earth, and that has already started happening in November 2024. Especially when you look at Valencia in Spain, of course, when there was this big flood. And so I believe that Pluto started to activate something related to water, but Neptune moving into Aries will make that more aware. And there's another thing that is related to Neptune in Aries, where we may feel a change, a shift in the energy, a shift in consciousness. And this has got to do with how we deal with our individuality. And because Neptune isn't really about individuality, it's about collective consciousness. But now that it is moving into Aries, which is all about the I am, I feel that people will become much more aware of their manifesting powers, and especially when they are using the I am energy, meaning that you will be able or more able to manifest things by focusing on things as if they are already happening or that you are already that person. But I strongly feel that looking at all the planetary energy shifting into new signs, there will be a great shift around how we see ourselves as humanity, also how we see ourselves as an individual. Our identity may change and we may get a completely different perspective on who we are as a species, but also as an individual. Now, I remember when I was watching a documentary about Elon Musk on Netflix, at a certain scene, he was saying that we are becoming a multi-planet species, and I believe that is true. And no matter how we do that, I think humanity will become more aware of that we are a multi-planetary species. And this is something that we will come across in many different planetary shifts this year. For example, when we look at Uranus that will move in Gemini. But before we go to Uranus, I would like to talk about Saturn. Saturn will also move sign and it will move into Aries and it will create a conjunction with Neptune. More about that you can find on my Astrology Weekly. But for now, I would like to mention that Saturn is related to time and how we experience time and how we work with time. Now, when Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, which is have been for the last couple of years, our sense of time becomes fluid. And what has been happening over the last couple of years around our sense of time, many people have experienced what we call the Mandela effect, or we have experienced the shifting of timelines or being able to step into a different timeline or even multiple timelines. Now, I know that Candace Grohl Goldman has a very interesting video about the Mandela effect, so I could encourage you to look up thequantumhealers.com and to watch that video about the Mandela effect. Okay, so that was when Saturn was in Pisces. But now, in May 26, Saturn will move into Aries, which will change our sense of time, meaning that we may feel as if we are more present, but also as if we are choosing, because Aries is all about making choices. So it's as if we are going to make a choice around timelines. What timeline do we want to activate? On which timeline do we want to step onto? And I feel that there is some important emotions that are relevant to how we choose a timeline. Because no matter if we are choosing a certain timeline from our desires, if we have certain fears, that will influence our choice of timeline. So I feel that it is really extremely important this year to make sure that you step out of the fear energy, out of the fear frequency. And this doesn't mean that you have to ignore fears, because sometimes fear is really relevant and important. It can be life-saving to listen to fear sometimes. However, if you are talking about timelines, it's so extremely important not to step into fear, because fear will draw you back into an old time frame, into an old timeline. So, what you could do if you would experience fear, accept it, Just look at your fear. Just allow the emotion to exist. Because if you suppress it, it will guide you unconsciously and it will influence you unconsciously. So if you experience fear, don't ignore it or don't suppress it, but just look it into the eye and just accept it, allow it, and then quickly move on. Just allow it for a short period of time and then quickly move on and move out of the fear energy. And make sure that you raise your energy to the frequency of love and peace and harmony. And that would be the best way to choose a new timeline, no matter what that timeline is. But if you choose it from the heart, if you choose it from love, the chances are much bigger that you will reach the desired timeline. Okay, so when Saturn moves into Aries, I think we will become much more aware of how we can work with time, play with time, and choose timelines. Okay, that being said, we'll move on. And we are going to look at Uranus that will move into the sign of Gemini. And this will happen on July 7. And Uranus entering the sign of Gemini, I believe that will all be about changing in our communication systems, new inventions, new technology around communication systems, but also around transport and vehicles. And I really feel that there already is a lot of technology around um, spacecraft, space vehicles, flying cars. I know that it is already happening, only it's not available yet to the public. And I believe that this will be something starting off this year. It will be launched this year. That's my feeling when I look at the planetary energies anyway. And I know that Dr. Stephen Greer has a lot of information about that. If you may want to look into his files that are on YouTube available, he talks a lot about UAPs and the developments around spacecrafts. But for now, I would like to mention that Uranus moving into Gemini is also about satellites. I think there will be some disclosures around satellites, and I think those who are owning satellites or using satellites will be ahead of other developments in the coming year, and probably not only this year, but the years after that, of course. But keep a close look at the developments around satellites. I think there will be a lot happening around that. I feel that Uranus in Gemini is also about who owns the sky and who owns the solar system. And I know this may sound very strange, and it's not really a choice of words that I would like to choose for myself, but I do feel that Uranus will reveal certain developments around our place in the cosmos and moving to other planets and being able to connect and communicate with other planets. And of course, I know that quantum healers are doing that in their sessions, in their hypnotic sessions. And there are many other modalities that are working with other planets on an energetical level. But I really feel that this is something that will start to happen on a physical level as well. And so I think this is going to be a year of change. This is going to be one of the most important years, I believe, since decades, because I feel that the shift is happening right now, this year. And it's also interesting that we have so many planets and I mean outer planets, because the outer planets are moving really slowly and they stay in a certain zodiac sign for many years. And now they are all changing signs, which means a new beginning. So this year is a major new beginning for humanity. And we can use that by, for our personal lives, by looking at where these planets are in our personal chart, looking at which houses do they activate, which planets do they activate in our chart. In our chart. Okay, um, I think I will leave it for now. I think we've mentioned a lot about the upcoming energies in 2025, and I will be making more videos about when all these planets are moving ingress into their new zodiac sign. So for now, I'm going to wish you a very happy new year and make the most of it. Make sure that this year is also a new beginning for you, becoming aware of where do you want to be in life? Where do you want to be in the world? Okay, thank you for listening and see you next time.